honcho over at Microsoft for the Xbox division, Phil Spencer, was talking candidly in an interview about whether or not the Xbox One would be able to catch up with its nemesis, the PlayStation 4, in hardware sales this generation. Now, this has been an argument and a debate and a discussion that's been going on for quite a while now. I mean, ever since the inception of the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One for this generation, the PlayStation 4 has had a commanding lead. Right now, it's over 25 million units. Just sales, right now, just for this generation, outpacing the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2, and the PlayStation 3. Now, the Xbox One, while it's in second place in terms of sales, it's pretty far behind the PlayStation 4. They haven't given specific numbers, but the last time anybody had checked, they were somewhere around 11 million. That was the last time anybody had checked. With the holiday season just right around the corner, this is the time that everybody's plunking down their hard-earned money to go and pick up new hardware, new games, and dive right into the fucking next generation of gaming, which is current generation, but you know what the fuck I mean. So, for anybody out there, they're gonna have to debate pretty fucking hard, because guess what? The PlayStation 4 had a price drop announced. So now the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 are the same exact price. Shitload of bundles announced for each, limited edition consoles and variants for each company. So naturally, this is going to be something all about exclusives. So you have the whole Xbox Live experience, you have the PSN experience, you have all the exclusives that are only on the Xbox One, and the ones that are only on the PlayStation 4, and then you have to think about what the fuck is coming out in the near future. Now, Phil Spencer did say that they have an ace up their sleeve, which is very true, and that's backwards compatibility. When that was announced at E3, I had fucking just absolutely fucking brimmed with joy. This was one of the things that I had been hoping for, and something I don't personally believe Sony can achieve with the PlayStation 4. The reason behind that is because the architecture in the PlayStation 3 is not something you can emulate. As a matter of fact, this is a system that you're going to need the hardware for years down the road, because the only way that they could allow PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3 games to both play on there without the need of like cloud and streaming and all the other fucking shit, and no, not cloud strife, but they would need to have an entirely new system, all new architecture, all new guts inside of it. Not the Nickelodeon show. God, I'm making too many goddamn references, metaphors, and fucking jokes here, but fuck off, I'm allowed to. Anyhow, so the idea of a backwards compatible PlayStation 4 is kind of out of the books. I mean, sure, it could probably play PlayStation 1 and possibly PlayStation 2 games, but not PlayStation 3 without a complete fucking overhaul. PlayStation 1 would be extremely easy for it to do, though. PlayStation 2, not so sure about it. I always thought it sucked that they took out the PS2 backwards compatibility on the PS3, because that was like one of my favorite fucking things about it, but, you know. I mean, hell, there is definitely a market for the idea of a PlayStation 4 that plays all generations, but there is no such thing. And Microsoft has said that they have backwards compatibility planned for the Xbox One for 360 games, but they didn't announce anything for the original Xbox, so we don't know anything about all that shit, but that's why you always keep your old hardware. But Phil Spencer had said that he loves the product that they're making right now. I mean, Phil Spencer had to come in and clean up a big fucking mess ever since all that bullshit went down in 2013, where they came out and they're like, we're gonna make the worst console in the entire world, and just middle fingers everywhere. And he acknowledged the fact that that hurt them greatly, and that's the truth. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised that they managed to sell as many units as they did after all that shit. And granted, they've come a long fucking way. Anybody can argue and debate how much they love or hate Microsoft or whatever, but you cannot ignore the fact that they've done a complete 180. Considering what the system was going to be and what the system had become and is right now and what it soon will be, you know, it's like night and day. You can't argue that. And there's plenty of games out there that you're going to want to go and pick up for the Xbox One that they have as exclusives. Which granted, you know, you could go and argue about that because many of them are appearing on PC. But in terms of consoles, you're only going to be able to get it on Microsoft's Xbox. You know, Gears of War, the Rare Replay, those right there are two big fucking heavy hitters. You have Halo. Again, something a lot of people really wanted. Sunset Overdrive, probably one of the best damn exclusives that the system had, like, altogether. Dead Rising 3, there's tons of fucking titles coming out for it, and Microsoft seems to be doubling down on all sorts of different studios, getting exclusives, and tons of other shit, and it's the smart thing to do. Despite all polarizing opinions out there, the question begs to be asked, do you out there, all gamers, do you believe that the Microsoft Xbox One can overthrow its nemesis, the PlayStation 4, and take the commanding lead and become the industry leader for this console generation? Will the exclusives somehow be incentive enough for people to say, I need to get that over to PlayStation 4? Will Xbox Live be enough to go and sway people away from playing on PSN? Is the system going to become #1 at any point in time right now? They would have to more than double their current sales to catch up with the PlayStation 4, but that's not something that's completely out of the question. Like I had said, the PlayStation 3 caught up with the Xbox 360. Most people thought that that was never going to happen, and frankly impossible. So you never know what's going to happen, but to all of you out there, can the Xbox One do it? Do you think Phil Spencer actually has a winner on his hands when it comes to the Xbox One, or do you think that this is something that's just going to sit happily in second place? Either way, this is AlphaOmegaSin, as always, nerds, nerdettes, and gamers game the fuck on!